Hello, this is Brad. I am with Mid-Continent Public Library, and today I am going to show you some options that we have when we're printing off documents. We can customize the color, size, orientation, and several other elements of a document when we print it off. Doing this can allow us to save paper and to only print the pages that we really need. It can also ensure that our print looks the way that we want it to. Let's go ahead and get started. To show you these print customizations that we can make, I am first going to navigate to a printed page. To do that, I'm going to go to Microsoft Edge and then to our Mid-Continent Public Library website, mymcpl.org. And I am going to scroll down to the bottom of our site to the Library by Mail section of the Services area. And this printing that I'm doing today has nothing to do with Library by Mail. I am just using it as an example of a printed page that we can then customize through various means. Library by Mail is a great program that Mid-Continent Public Library provides, though. It is for individuals who are unable to make it into the library for a number of different reasons, and they can sign up for this program, and then books will be sent to them through the mail. I am going to use the Library by Mail printable application as my example document today, and this will allow us to see the different ways that we can customize a document when we are printing it off. So I'm going to go ahead and select this print version of the Library by Mail application packet, and then this brings up the application in our window here. I can see that it is multiple pages with all the information for this program. And I am going to go ahead and select the print button up here. This is going to bring up our print preview window, and that is where we'll be doing most of our work today. If I wanted to go ahead and print this entire application, all I would have to do is select the blue print button. But today we are going to look at all of the different ways that we can customize this print. All of this information up here is what we will be looking at. One handy thing that we can customize from this print menu is which pages that we print. We can see that this application has multiple pages. What if we only wanted to print out certain pages? Maybe we just want to take a look at these author interest forms down here. Maybe I'm not sure I want to sign up for the program and I just want to look through these author lists. Well, in order to save some paper, I can choose to only print the final 2 pages. See over here, I currently have all pages selected, but if I go to this last option, I can manually enter the pages that I want to print. If I want to print 5 and 6, I can just enter 5-6, and my print preview is even adjusted, and now we see that I will only print off these final 2 pages. That could save me a lot of paper if I didn't need every page of this application. And if there were some other pages that I wanted to print, I could enter those into this box as well. Maybe I want to print page 1, and then pages 3 through 5. So I would enter a 1, and then a comma, and then 3, and then -5. And I will now be printing pages 1, 3, 4, and 5. Besides using that box, I could also print the even pages only by selecting this option. And then the same thing can be applied for odd pages. I am going to go ahead and select all pages again. And next, we are going to look at the number of copies. If I want to print more than 1 copy of this document, I can use this box right here to increase that. If I need 2 or even 3 copies of this application, I can use this box to increase that number. And you may notice that when we started typing here, we saw this collate box appear. And this will only appear if we are printing multiple copies. If we print with our pages collated, that means it will print one entire application, page 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 in our case, and then it will print the second copy, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we did not select collate, it would actually print all page 1s first, and then all of the page 2s, the page 3s, the page 4s, 5s, and 6s. And so it just kind of depends on your preference. Personally, I find collate to be simpler and easier to understand. You can select either option from this print preview window. If I did not want to collate, I could uncheck that box right here. Let's go ahead and move this back down to one copy. There we see our collate button is now gone. I have color options down here. If I wanted to print this application in color, I could do so. I don't think there is any color on it, so I will just leave it black and white. Very often it is cheaper to print out black and white pages than it is color, so it is good to have that option as well. Another option we have is to print on both sides of our paper. We see here I can print on both sides, and that will flip to either the long edge or the short edge. If my page was portrait orientation, as this page is, I would want to print on both sides and flip on the long edge. If I selected print on both sides, flip on the short edge, then my page 2 would be upside down. The reverse is true if this page was in landscape. If it was in landscape, I would want to print on both sides and flip on the short edge. If I select print on one side, then each page of this application will be on one piece of paper. So page 1 will be on its own piece of paper, page 2 will be on its own piece of paper, and so on. Besides these settings, there are even more in this More Settings area. If I go down here, I can change several things. The first one we are going to look at is the scale. Right now, it is set to fit to the printable area. I can select actual size here, and then down here, I can actually increase the size of my print by using this dialog box. As we can see, this might not be the best thing to do in this instance because I am losing some of my text here as I increase the size of this document. And so the actual size or the fit to printable area would probably be best for this type of document. Another way that I can modify my print is by going back to the top of this area and selecting landscape. Now my page is actually in landscape orientation, but much like with the custom scale, I'm losing part of my page here. But if you remember, my page is currently in the actual size setting, but if I go ahead and scroll down, I can change this back to fit to printable area, and that might give me better results. Here we see the information is all formatted within my page. I have these extra wide margins over here, but in some instances that could be nice. This is just a good example of if you're going to mess with your print customization, it's a good idea to remember the things that you have clicked and to mess around with it a little bit to get the best results. I'm going to move this back to portrait orientation. Pages per sheet. So this is actually going to change how many pages appear on each piece of paper. And so here I have 2 pages side by side on each piece of paper. And so if I were to print this backwards and forwards, I could actually fit 4 pages on one piece of paper. And here I see 4 pages per sheet. It is showing me 4 pages of this document on one sheet of paper. Obviously, this is quite small, and I don't know if this would be the best for this type of print project, but it is an option that we have. If I was using different size paper, I could select that from this window. If I was using legal size paper, I have an option for that, or any of these other size papers, and it will adjust my print to fit that size paper that I have. We can see that each page has some extra space because this document was originally formatted for standard 8.5 by 11 letter size paper. Whenever I was ready to print my pages, after making all the changes, I could select the blue print button to do so. And I am now going to show you another example of adjusting our prints that could come in handy. I'm going to go to one of our resources. This is our Early Learning by World Book resource. And in this resource, we have a bunch of different videos, games, stories, and activities. And the activities can actually be printed off. And so I'm going to go ahead and look at the activities. And let's go ahead and check out this maze right here with this cat in the rain. And if I wanted to print this, there is an option over here to download and then print this. I can right-click on the image and select Open Image in New Tab, and then I will select my new tab that has opened right here. And from here, I'm going to select the print option that is available within this 3-dot menu. And I see it down here. And we see that our page is being cut off. And so what I can do is I can use my print window options to make this work. First, I want this to be in color, so I'm going to select color from this menu. And then I have a couple different options to make the whole maze fit on my page here. I could try printing it in landscape, and that would print it off just fine. If the landscape option wouldn't work, I could always go to my More Settings menu right here. And within that menu, I could adjust the scale to fit to the printable area, or I could adjust my scale percentage down here. In this situation, I think the landscape orientation was probably our best option, but this was just a little exercise to see how we can use the different elements of our print preview window when we come across a document that we want to print off. One more handy thing I will show you from our print preview window. If we go to the top, we have the printer selected that we are going to print to. We might see several different printers here. We also see an option to save as a PDF. And if I select that, my print button has now been turned into a blue save button. And by selecting that, it will allow me to save this file to my computer. That would allow me to print it off later, or send it to someone through an email, or do any number of different things with it. That is a handy option that you may have within your print preview window. And today we have been mostly looking at Microsoft Edge. I just want to quickly open Google Chrome to show you that a lot of these same options exist within Google Chrome. I'm going to go to the Library by Mail application just to show you that things might look a little bit differently within our Chrome menu, but not so different that we can't figure them out. I have my print button over here, and this is the Chrome Print Preview menu. We see a lot of the same options. We see more settings as well, and this just gives us a lot of those same options to customize our print and get the pages that we want and to have it look the way that we would like it to. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find the information in it useful and that it allows you to print off the pages that you want to from your print jobs and to save you time and money. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to follow our MCPL 360 Facebook page. We premiere new videos every Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. And if you miss the premiere on Facebook, you can watch all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our MCPL Mo YouTube channel. This has been Brad. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.